Welcome to the LA Business Podcast, your destination to hear stories of how businesses grow and scale. I'm Robert Brill, CEO of Brill Media and the host of this podcast. Now, let's jump right into this week's interview. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the LA Business Podcast. Today our guest is Lattice Hudson, owner of Lattice & Co., a business coach, leadership mentor, and social sales expert at latticehudson.com. Lattice, thanks for being with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Robert. I'm really looking forward to today.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I always am like, that is such a broad range. I do so many things, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Really, what
Okay.
we do here at Lattice and Company is we really focus on helping small business owner and operators really start, grow, and scale their online business. And we primarily specialize in like high ticket sales, paid traffic, marketing, all of those wonderful things. And our company's mission is really helping women create wealth with their online business. So that's kind of a little bit about what we do.
So what are I hear the jargon a lot, and to everyone it kind of like means something different, but what are high ticket sales?
Yeah, so high ticket sales, in like my opinion, is really anything over about $3,000 or more. So really just selling and packaging up your own expertise. So we really focus on helping like coaches and service providers online. So it's really selling at that more premium price point, and working in more of like a scalable business model with group coaching. So that's really what high ticket kind of means to me.
And so you've been doing this since 2018, correct?
I left my corporate job in 2018, but I started this business in 2019.
Oh, fantastic. And prior to that, you were on the executive team leader of guest experience at Target.
Mhm.
I see human resources manager at Lowe's, regional human resources business partner at Avis. So you've had
Yeah.
some strong experience at large corporations. How does that fit into the work that you're doing today?
Oh, yeah. All that experience really set me up to be a entrepreneur. I would say that experience really ties into something that's super important as an entrepreneur is like those relational skills. And as a human resource business partner and manager, I've really been able to own in and not only like manage my team and lead my team at a high level, but those coaching skills that you learn as an HR partner, that is super transferable as a business coach. So that really just helped shape my career as an entrepreneur. And I'm just super grateful for those experiences.
And when you think about sorry, when I started my business, we went through a lot of iterations of our business to get where we need to go. What was your initial vision, and did it change at all for your business as you grew? Or did you was it on the nose from day one?
Yeah, so I've had a few other businesses. So as far as like entrepreneurship, that has changed. When I originally started my first business in 2017, I had a car rental business, and then from there I had a Amazon e-commerce business, and I just kind of left filling those businesses unfulfilled along with working a corporate job. So for me, fast forward to like 2018 was really a pivotal year when I quit my six-figure job at Avis and like stepped into entrepreneurship full time. I knew that something had to look a little bit different. So I always knew that I wanted to serve people, but not in the way that I was originally doing it. So the pivotal point for me was recognizing that I a could sell my expertise online and b also have a really really comfortable life doing that. So there was like definitely a pivot in there, but ultimately like I knew that I wanted to serve people at a really high level. I just didn't know what that looked like at the beginning. So does that
So
answer your question?
yeah, so it is really interesting. I'm going to follow up with that. So selling your expertise online to some people, to me, sounds really daunting, which is ironic because we're a digital advertising firm and 100% of what we do is drive leads and sales with digital advertising. And but there's a difference here because selling who you are and the value that you bring is, in my opinion, exceptionally difficult. You have to be a people person, the type of person that translates well into digital environments. So, what are some of the, I guess, strategies that you deploy either for yourself or for your clients to help you or your clients grow online? Because that's such a, it's in some ways it's such a vague thing,
Yeah.
but in other ways it's very concrete. Let's talk about the concrete things of that.
Yeah, so from like a growth standpoint, we really like to meet our clients like where they're at. So just for an example, like for the most part, we really work with like tangible outcomes. So a lot of our coaches are in the health, wealth, or relationship space. We found that clients that don't have as tangible of, an offer or an expertise often struggle in the high ticket space because when you think about high ticket, you're selling at 3K or more. And on average, our clients are anywhere from 3K to 10K with their offers. You have to really provide something of extreme value. So when I think about marketing online, I love organic and I also love paid, but most of our clients start off organic. So when I say organic, I mean leveraging just social media platforms, SEO, blog, all of that. But our specialty is really Instagram and Facebook. So essentially, it's really creating great long form and live video content. So really adding value like Gary V style, but not that extreme. Giving really strong calls to action to take that next step in the sales process. So typically for our clients, that's like a sales call or a sales conversation. And then it's really rinsing and repeating that strategy. So our favorite though is really Facebook and leveraging Facebook groups because Facebook groups really build that community. So on one hand, like that's the organic side of like really growing your expertise with like the marketing on the organic side. And then really on the paid side, Robert, we really focus on leveraging Facebook and Instagram ads. So we run traditional like funnels. So we do like webinar funnels, challenge funnels. Those are going to be our top two performing funnels that we help our clients with. And we help them like learn how to use Facebook and Instagram ads to do that. So that's really like the concrete things that we do inside of our business and help our clients with.
So is part of your work helping your clients understand how to best leverage these tools? Like you're not doing webinars for your clients. You're telling them the frame it sounds like you're telling them the framework that works really well and having them go deploy it, right?
Yeah, so we really focus from like the top like overview strategy and then we have like templates and swipe files and all of that, but we don't necessarily do done for you. Some aspects where we'll help with like their Facebook ads or their copy, but we won't compile it all together. That's really on them. So it's like a done with you type of experience inside of
So
our
how do
programs.
you how do you build trust with
Yeah.
prospective clients? Because
Yeah,
it,
it's a good
there's a
question.
lot of similarity to our business, and one of the
Yeah.
I'll speak to that because one of the challenges for our business is that we get a lot of our business from referrals. People have to
Mm,
know me in particular, like me, and trust me. I've been in advertising for 18 years. They have to know me, like me, and trust me, and that's how we get relationships. That's how we get business, etc. And we work for some of the largest brands in the world through other agencies who white label us. So the
yeah.
question is, how do you get people to know you, like you, and trust you in digital environments? What are some of like the lowest hanging fruits there?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So for us, how we've really been able to like rapidly scale our business from zero to nearly seven figures is really going straight to the source. So my ideal avatar is really a single woman or a new mom that's really looking to leave corporate. So we find that a lot of our people are on social media already. So instead of like dealing with like the SEO and the blogging and all of that, which that stuff's great, when we think about shortening the life cycle for people to know, like, and trust us, it really is through storytelling, right? And vulnerability through content. So, content marketing has been really crucial to our success. And even furthermore, from like content marketing, conversation marketing. And that often gets kind of swept under the rug. But it's like that old school, like, kind of like not door to door, but really having those genuine, authentic connections and conversations through direct messenger, through sales calls, and really just showing up for our people in the way that we do best. So I would say, as far as content though, our fastest way to take people from just finding us online to really like buying into what we have to say and our expertise has been leveraging live video, because not only do people get to see you, they get to basically they feel like they can touch you and taste you. You're able to really take them from just finding you online to converting them into a high ticket buyer. So that's where we primarily focus our energy on is like video, live video, and then also like webinars and things like that. But that's how we've been able to build know, like, and trust really quickly, and having like an automated system that brings in leads consistently. So that's what we've been able to do in a relatively short amount of time.
And how and in terms of how you charge like a flat fee, hourly? How does that work out for your business?
Yeah, so we keep our business model pretty simple. So we just sell two programs. We have a front end program that's 5 figures. So it's just one flat fee or in a payment installment. And then we have a back end program that's a little bit more for our more advanced clients. And that is just a higher fee. And there's also a payment plan option as well.
And so how do you I mean, when you meet with people, do you get, like, objections? I'm sure there are some people who are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that's a it's w so there's the cost of the thing, then there's the value. I
Yeah.
believe it's valuable, right? So that's not the question. But
Right.
the response is the visceral emotional response is, "Holy cow, that's a lot of money," even
Yeah.
though it's not.
Yeah. It's
How
not
do
in the
you
grand.
overcome that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's various ways. There's always going to be some sort of objection, and I really like to frame objections as just questions that your potential clients have. And the number one objection that we get is money. Obviously, we're really in the more B2B, beta solopreneur space. So those people are usually a little bit newer to business. So for us, it's we combat it with a creating accessible payment plans, because a payment plan is a service, right? So we create accessible payment plans, and then we also like put our teams through like intensive sales training, where we focus on actually handling the objections. And I would say like 9 times out of 10, money is not the real objection. It usually is just like deep rooted fear and belief around worthiness, especially with our ideal clients. So we definitely handle objections. We don't let people just off the hook, and we make sure that, whether they buy or not on the phone, we're just of service of their goals. And we found creating that like authenticity through our sales process, and having those multiple touch points throughout the sales process has really increased our conversion rates over time. So that's really how we focus on serving our people and having great content and just showing up in all the ways that we can for them.
Holy cow, deep-rooted fear and worthiness. That if that
Oh yeah.
doesn't cut someone straight to the core, I don't know what does.
Yeah. That's what we found out at least. So
Yeah,
we
I
work
believe
around
it.
it.
I was on a sales call prior to this conversation, and I was like, "No, I don't wanna pay this thing," but and I'm not fearful to say why I'm not interested in paying it. But it comes down to worthiness, and really for me, it was like, am I gonna be able to take full advantage of the thing? Because I don't know if I'll be able to really dedicate the time and energy to it, which really ultimately comes down to deep-rooted fear and worthiness. Am I
Oh yeah.
good enough
Mhm.
to spend the money and take full advantage of the thing? Wow, holy cow. So a lot of psychology this here. So you know how to sell, like, this is what's interesting to me, there's marketing and then there's advertising, right? And then there's
Yeah.
sales. And these are so a lot of even corporations are conflated into a single title and or a single role or a single team. But these are dramatically different types of jobs. So you have some knowledge, some deep knowledge about people and behaviors, and you know how to get them to where they need to go for their own benefit, not just your benefit, because I would imagine their benefit is also your benefit, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And when we're able to really figure out like what gets people to buy, and after tons of market research, tons of sales calls, tons of just research on like the human mind and their buying behavior, we're able to do it in a way where we can really meet people where they're at and really just dig deep, because a lot of people in sales, especially online, they're scared to go there, and we're not scared to go there, right? We'll always act in integrity, but at the same time, like, you didn't get on the sales call for no reason. You have a problem that we can solve, so let's take it there. And that's kind of how I look at sales throughout the full life cycle.
Right, you get on the dance floor, you know you wanna dance, everyone knows you wanna dance, but then you're, scared to dance because you were told
Yeah,
10 years ago you don't know how to dance.
exactly. So I'm gonna dip you, I'm gonna wine and dine you, and we're gonna
Right,
make it work.
right. Totally, totally. I don't know how to dance. Okay, so, so how was the last I mean, we're recording this in December 2021, we're on the precipice of a new year, hopefully a bright, exciting, robust new year. COVID has been a thing with us now for almost 2 years. How how did COVID how did you deal with COVID? Was it good for your business? Was it bad for your business? Tell us about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so ironically, COVID was really good for my business because I am in the, biz opportunity B2B solopreneur space. And a lot of people, after seeing like, hey, I don't want to work this corporate job anymore. We're not going to be here forever. My business actually like really blew up, and I'm under the circumstances, like, obviously, I wish COVID didn't happen, and also, like, it really did wonders for our business, when we think about just being able to serve people and meet them where they're at. So, yeah, it definitely, I mean, it, like, 10x our business, which is literally insane looking back at it, but it's been good for our business because people recognize that they have options outside of sitting in a 9 to 5 staring at a windowless office. So, yeah.
Totally. And why and so how do you deal with 10x growth, right? How
Yeah,
what do you develop new processes? Do you hire people? What are some of
yeah.
the things that go into that allow you to sustain that into the future?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely broke our business because at first, I mean, for a while, it was just me, a VA, and like a support coach. Had to like triple our team within the matter of like 60 days. But thankfully for me, like I have tons of HR experience. My degrees in HR, like HR and team and leadership, has something that I've done for, many years. So for me, that was actually the easiest part. I think the most difficult part for us was really like, because we were remote, I had never worked with a remote team. That was a little bit challenging, but I think that if you can lead from the top down and get your team's buy-in, like you're always going to win. So for us overall, like the most difficult piece was really just like the remote challenges that having a team had, and then also just like the operation side. So like SOPs and systems and scaling, like that was a little bit difficult. And making sure that we kept our client experience at the forefront of our mind. So we had challenges, but we definitely overcame it and, continue to provide an amazing experience for our clients.
And so when you look into 2022, what are some of the changes, refinements, iterations, offerings? Tell us about what you're looking forward to in 2022.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to is as a CEO, I've been kind of grinding at this business for the last like about 3 years. So I'm really thankful that I have an amazing new director of operations in place that really understands like the mechanics of running a business and managing a team. Because up until what, 3, 4 months ago, I was still like managing the team. I was still like head of client fulfillment. I was kind of running the entire show on top of being CEO and the visionary. So now that I've brought in a full time employee that's a director of operations, she's really able to be my right hand. So what we're most looking forward to is really like scaling our back end program, which is like kind of like it's like that next level program. So we're really excited to scale that. And then also personally, I'm just really excited to like I'm going to be taking a month off in 2022, and my team's got it. So we're just planning for that. So I'm just really excited for the growth, the rest, and then also just getting in front of more people so we can just continue to grow our brand. So that's what I'm excited for.
So while you take the time off, tell us about the program that will be in progress during that period. How do you ensure the your clients get what they need during that period?
Yeah, so I think the biggest piece is making sure that you have somebody to manage your team while you're gone, that's like equipped and capable and understands your processes and like your operations. But two, also having a complete game plan. So I'm no longer the only person that fulfills, right? We have a fulfillment team. So we have assistant support coaches and success coaches that support our clients. And it's a it's a pathway to get them to not only know, like, and trust me, but know, like, and trust our support coaches. But we're at a point where our clients are getting phenomenal results. Our support coaches like know they've basically downloaded my brain. We have like training protocols and manuals and all of that. So really it's just like making sure that everybody knows their role that they play and ensuring that it may not go perfect and I don't expect it to, but also like giving them that permission, my team, to be empowered to make decisions while I'm out. So it really just comes down to really good leadership and management of your team.
So you mentioned earlier that Facebook groups are an important part of your prospecting solution for both yourself and your clients. Tell us about the power of Facebook groups. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, so Facebook groups have been great because, I mean, essentially, Facebook is built on community. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Facebook and Instagram are experiencing a little bit of downtick in just like um, sorry, this experiencing a little bit of a downtick in viewership just because of like TikTok and some of the other apps. So Facebook is doing a really big push for community right now, and we've been leveraging a Facebook group for about 2 years. But I love Facebook groups because you're able to really establish your brand authority. You're really able to retain viewership and get people really bought in with your method. So even if you have a customer or a potential lead that comes into your world, say on day one, they may not buy for a few weeks or a few months, but having a Facebook group where you're able to nurture your people, you're able to keep the conversation going and keep the conversation open. So that's why I really love Facebook groups. And it's been really our most profitable source of from our organic marketing methods since like day one. So Facebook groups are a complete game changer for us.
And where does paid media play in the process of um as a solution set for yourself or your clients?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly the clients we work with have a great deal, have budgets, and they're spending money on paid media across social, outside of social, connected television, the whole thing. How does what part of the strategy does that fulfill?
Yeah, so for our paid media, it's really a couple of different pieces. So, one, we leverage paid media to drive traffic to our Facebook group. So, you can't natively drive traffic to a Facebook group because there's liability there. So, what we leverage is like we use like a lead magnet to get people into our Facebook group. So, we drive paid traffic, Instagram, Facebook ads, even Google ads, we've just been dabbling in. We drive that traffic to like a landing page where the lead will opt in. And then on that thank you page, it's like, hey, join our free community for women entrepreneurs. So that's the first piece in like how we leverage paid media. The second piece is with our automated lead funnel, which is our proprietary process where we drive traffic every single day, 24/7, to the top of our funnel. So that's the second way. And then the third way that we really focus on leveraging paid media is also creating brand awareness and retargeting. So we leverage Facebook and Instagram ads to retarget people to our application, our booking a sales call, and then also just overall retargeting when we're tapping into warm audiences. And then from a brand awareness standpoint, we leverage like brand awareness videos to get people warmed us up to us when we're tapping into new cold markets. So that's kind of how we leverage paid media.
And so, Facebook has been handed a set of challenges. They are accused of everything from some that they're accused of a lot of bad things, from undermining democracies all across the West to harming the mindset of teenage girls. And I believe that there's truth in a lot of that. Not
Mhm.
everything. I don't think the fall of democracy should or can be pinned on Facebook. But I do believe that they're, depending if you're who you listen to on the left, they're going to say, look, Facebook is the devil. And then the people who are on the right who are also going to say that Facebook is the devil for different reasons,
Yeah.
for censorship and whatnot. Do you see any challenges or headwinds on Facebook that are coming down the line that might require you to change where you go for great algorithmically driven traffic?
Yeah, so we definitely with the iOS 14 and 15 updates, we've definitely some changes as far as the pixel, right? You
Right.
can't track everything like you used to. So retargeting is not as effective, but we have really figured out a pretty unique process to kind of beat around the pixel. We use like tracking software as well that's a little bit way more specific and captures the data. So we're experimenting with segmentrics right now. I know another popular one is high roast for tracking in AI. But for us, we've really developed a process where we don't have to use it. We don't have to rely on the pixel. We heavily leverage conversation marketing in conjunction with paid traffic. So I like to call it social selling advertisement. That's kind of how I built my business through conversation. So we've really taken that and amplified it, and been able to really just like capitalize on the market right now. So for us, we don't, knock on wood, we don't see any issues, but we've been able to just kind of find a solution to the pixel issue. And we've had some of our biggest revenue months ever this year. So
Can you
yeah,
tell us about the social selling component? Because I would
yeah.
imagine that's like going on LinkedIn and reaching out to folks, but I think you're talking about something very different.
Yeah. So when I think about social selling for us, so I'll give you guys an example. So people are scrolling on Facebook and Instagram all day, right? That's how ads are shown. But really, we like to break down the barrier by getting people to send us a message. Okay. So traditional like cold messaging and marketing, like you're sending outbound. So what we really do is take the initiative with a very specific, simple Facebook and Instagram ad, and we get people to send us a message based off of us offering our challenge or mini course or webinar, and calling those people out. So it's really intent based marketing. So we get people to raise their hand, and then we have our sales team in there in the DMs. And sometimes myself, I pop in there, and we're just really asking them questions about their goals, their struggles, what they're working on. And then, of course,
Um,
delivering that lead magnet to them. And then from there, taking them through a series of questions and getting them to book appointments with us. So we've been able to do that pretty seamlessly with the transition.
so when I see ads and there's a lot of conversation inside the comment section of the ads, that could, depending on what you say in those comments, that could be an example of that social selling component.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Wow.
even with, like, Instagram and Facebook, you can there's a very unique ad that we run, and it literally tells them to send us a message if they want, access to our mini course or a challenge or a webinar. So we're literally telling them to send us a direct message, and then from there, we have a whole sequence of automations that go off, and then also a lot of human touch. So it's a really authentic experience that they get, and it's nothing like anybody else is doing on the market right now.
Really interesting, really interesting.
Yeah.
So Latisse, how can people find you if they wanna learn more and work with you?
Yeah, so I'm usually hanging out over on Instagram at Lattice Hudson, or I'm in my free Facebook group, Elevated Women Entrepreneurs. So that's
And
where you guys
how
can find me.
and how can they so Elevated Women Entrepreneurs, so if we go on Facebook and search for Elevated Women Entrepreneurs, that's the group.
Yes, 100%.
Awesome. Well, Latisse Hudson, thank you for being with us. Owner of Latisse & Co., a business coach, leadership mentor, and social sales expert with LatisseHudson.com. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.